Yay Networks.
Hello.
Hello, hello. I'm Emily.
And I'm Laura.
And this is Cheers to That Shit. I've just done this very strategically to cut off Laura in the middle of a sentence.
Yeah,
we
I've
were
noticed.
about to hit an argument, so I was like 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Let me clarify argument. Talking about something Emily doesn't want to talk about. Or AKA not agreeing with what Emily thinks. AKA argument. AKA I don't want to talk about it.
AKA cucumber spray. AKA moving on.
Oh my goodness.
Oh my gosh. Well, I don't have too many exciting things going on in my life.
I do.
Okay.
I'm going to be puppy sitting this weekend.
That's right.
Yeah. One of my doodles, Lucy, from her last litter. The puppies are about, 6, 7 months old right now. One of her puppies is coming for a weekend visit. They needed a dog sitter.
Do you think Lucy will remember?
Yes, they remember their scents. Dogs never forget scents. So like even, if Banner was ever with his siblings or family, he would know it. So yeah, I'm excited about that. I think it's going to be so much fun. I can't wait because we're going to breed this puppy. We're going to breed this dog.
Okay.
So anyway, we're going to be doggy sitting. So that's going to make my 4 doodles plus Lulu makes 5 plus Jackie's dog Millie makes 6 dogs in my house. And then Anthony told me and Dana are coming for Friday and Saturday night too. So do you want to come over? It's going to be a grand time at the DiGirolamo house.
Well, I might have to because my oldest is now obsessed with you. So
well, you should bring her over to see the puppy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
Or all the dogs.
Maybe. There's something going on down at Dorothea Dix. They're doing like a pumpkin carnival thing. So we might do that.
Like a kid thing or a
Well, no,
family.
I mean like a family.
Yeah.
Like a family thing. So we might go do that.
I like shopping. I like going out. We talked about that this weekend.
I know. Yeah.
I like going to a store. I like looking around, stimulating my visual creativity, part of me, touching the fabric.
We went to IKEA.
Yeah.
We both did. We just need one thing. One thing from IKEA. I challenge. That shit's worse than Target.
I was going to say, I did
in.
buy my one thing, but I bought 3 one things.
Yeah. I bought my one thing.
It was peer pressure. Because we were in the kitty section and you found something super cute. And I was like, I don't even have anybody to buy this for, but I'm buying it anyway. And by the way, I texted the mom and was like, hey, I got something for your daughter. She was like, oh my God, that just made my night. That was the sweetest thing ever.
Oh, that's so sweet.
I could have spent a week in IKEA.
I could, yeah. Those vignettes. Anyway, yeah, we went, that's a whole nother shit. That's a whole nother fucking podcast. IKEA podcast. What can I talk about in IKEA today?
Yeah.
All right.
Oh my gosh.
But what are we going to talk about today? Speaking of IKEA.
Yeah. Speaking of IKEA and
Target and Michael's and all the
fall stuff up and all that stuff, that you decorate your house with that you like to DIY. We're going to talk about DI don't.
DI don't you fucking do it. Yeah.
Yeah. It is. If you haven't yet, but you're considering it, I'm just going to tell you.
Don't. Do not.
DON''T.
And the word is no. And
we're going to tell you why. We have a couple, 3 things we're going to focus on, the biggest ones.
And I'm also excited. So we're at the end of this episode. I have a really good story that was submitted by a bride. Laura has not read it yet.
I haven't read the story yet, so it's going to be an element of surprise.
It is about DIY parts. And I was like, I have to throw this in this one. We're still collecting stories. So if you haven't submitted yours yet, stories@cheerstothatshit.com. We want to kind of create little mini episodes of stories.
Of just stories, yeah.
So, but this one was too good. I was like, I think I remember seeing a DIY gone bad at a wedding. So I was like, we have to throw this one in there. So we'll be reading that at the end of the episode.
Goes specifically with what we're talking about. So
yeah. So the first category, we kind of broke it into categories of the top 3 we think, because our opinion holds so fucking hell
we're
highly.
So smart.
And all, we know everything about weddings if you haven't picked up at this point. The first, we kind of broke it down to 3 topics. The first one is photographer and videographer.
Yes.
We talk a lot about the importance of photographers and wedding planners. We didn't add that, but don't.
If you had to have a wedding and you could only have one vendor, and let's forget the venue where you're having the wedding. Outside of that, if you had to pick one vendor to be at your wedding, what would it be? Me too. 100%.
Because you know what? You want to know, this is why. And and you can say why yours is for my reason.
It's probably, if we both pick photography, it's probably the same thing.
You can go like I don't care where you can have a picture and you can be in a parking lot. And if you get a good enough photographer, they will make that shit look fairy tale
like
magical.
You're in Tribeca in New York City.
Yes. Like they will turn that shit to be gorgeous. Gorgeous.
Yeah.
You just have to get the right photo. Like,
well, and
that is not a place to skimp, on my opinion.
Yeah. And for me, with the photographer, it would be just the memory, the lasting memory, the pictures on your wall, looking through your album. Not so much anymore, but when my kids were younger, they loved looking at my wedding album like, oh my God, look at you. Look at your hair. Why are you wearing your hair that way?
I've looked through my parents.
What my kids used to ask, where was I? Was Mima, was I at Mima's house? Because my mom, when my mom babysat them, they call her Mima. They were like, where was I at Mima's house? I was like, that's so sweet. Like they weren't even born.
You weren't even a thought in mommy's mind.
Their little brains, but just looking through those albums and having those pictures. I mean, that's the one thing that's left in my mind at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Everything else, the food gets eaten, the linens get returned, the flowers die, blah, blah, blah,
the
yada, yada,
gets
yada.
old, like it doesn't fit.
Yeah.
Yada, whatever.
You don't pull that out like every weekend.
No.
But yeah, pictures for sure.
Absolutely. Yeah. That's my biggest thing. I am videographer too. That shit is an art. It is an art. There are different, and the reason there are different types of photographers, like you have your nature photographer, someone shooting for National Geographic cannot do a wedding.
Right. Documentary style.
Yes.
Or just whatever all the other styles are.
All the other photographers.
All
I'm
the other
telling you,
styles.
we know everything about weddings. So stop questioning us. But yeah, no, it's like, it is an art. And this is the shit that pisses me off. This is the shit that pisses me off. You go on your honeymoon. If you go on one, regardless, you're waiting, the build up. I want to see these pictures. I don't, cause like you just said, I don't have anything left. This is it. I need to see these pictures, but you've gotten your cousins, best friends, boyfriends, sisters, uncles, nieces, neighbor to do it because she has a camera and she takes pictures.
Let me tell you something, people. Camera doesn't make you a photographer.
Bop, bop, snappity, snap, snap in your face. Like
done. That's all that needs to be said about that.
You're going to get those pictures back and be like,
I could have done better with my iPhone.
I'm Siri. The fuck?
Yeah. So yeah, don't DIY photography.
Not even a little bit. Like, excusez-moi. What is this garbage? My best friend had her photographer who didn't typically shoot weddings, but she was like, oh yeah, I can do it for you. The pictures, number one, she didn't even get all the pictures back. Number two, the pictures that she did get back were trash.
Well, if you're
also number three, they're not married anymore, but that's not why. The photographer ruined their wedding.
Bonus feature, they're not married anymore.
So she doesn't need those pictures anyway, you jackass photographer.
That just made me think of something like, if you don't normally shoot weddings, then you're shooting like still, right? Nature.
Babies, families.
Family, things that are still and posed.
Correct.
And I guess that's still photography. I don't know, whatever. I'm not a photographer and don't want to be. Well, actually, that's not true. I would love to be a photographer,
all right,
but
well,
that's another story. So a wedding is in motion.
You miss a moment, that's it.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, this is another story.
But it's happening in motion, walking down the aisle, kissing. You know what I mean? It's in motion.
One of my other best friends, like I have two that are like, top tier, whatever. Her photographer left in the middle of her ceremony and missed the kiss.
For what?
She had to go to the bathroom. She missed their kiss. And then she was like, well, let's redo it. And she was like, so they had to redo their wedding kiss.
You don't
with everyone. Everyone's already out of the church.
You don't do. Okay,
she missed their kiss.
For all you photographers out there, do you just wear like Depends while you're shooting? Because that begs the question.
Oh yeah, when do they? Oh well, they have if they have a second shooter, but you don't go during the ceremony. Go during cocktail hour.
Or you know what? As a photographer, they probably plan like, we're going to do this at this. Like we'll shoot the whole ceremony, and then I'm going to take a potty break, and when I get back, we'll.
Yeah, because I'm like, did my photographer go to the bathroom at all? Like, I have no idea. She was there the whole time. Yeah, missed during the ceremony. Yeah. Of all things to leave, it's not the ceremony.
Yeah,
missed their kiss.
Okay, so that was a hired photographer. So let's talk about why you're not hiring a photographer. You're having friend of Bobby
cousins,
or Susie
sisters,
or
best friends, neighbors.
DIYing it, or you're setting up a freaking ring light with your camera on it and pressing record.
Yeah.
That's not videography.
You're missing your moments. It really is an art. You're missing the moments that you really want. It's an art. You're going to look back and be like, these are bad. They're not going to last the way the photographer was. And let's talk about videography too. You can't just set up your camera in the corner of the room because there are angles. There are moments that you need that you don't think about. I personally did not get a videographer for my wedding. That was a personal choice. I did not want one. And that's something I don't regret. But I know a lot of people want that combo, that videographer.
And we did. We separate. We had a separate videographer from a photographer, and it was like drone foot. It was like a mini movie trailer.
Yeah, exactly. Mini movie trailer. You're not making a mini movie trailer from your iPhone.
Well, and you don't. Well, this is a personal opinion, so don't shoot the messenger, but I don't think you need a like 3-hour motion picture either.
No, 10 minutes caps.
I loved the mini movie trailer. That was perfect. It was like it was like the drone coming in that showed the venue, and then this and a clip of the ceremony, and then we were all dancing and whatever. Boom, done. I can go back and look at that in 3 minutes because let's face it, nobody has any attention span anymore or wants to watch it. When I'm feeling like, oh gosh, I miss Jackie's wedding so much, I pull that out on my phone. I can look at it 3 minutes. I get all the feels. Move on.
I think that's the biggest part. It's like you wait so long to get these pictures back. And if you get your pictures back within a week of the wedding, that something's wrong. It needs to be a little bit like you get teasers, but there's pictures that like, it's going to take a little bit. So I really look deep into your photographer and don't just get your friend because she said, oh yeah, like I can take these pictures and it's like, okay, here's the thing too. If you want to do that, like if you're trying to save money because you're like, hey, yeah, I really want to like help you out here. That's something I would say like, okay, I would love for you to be maybe the second shooter on this. I'm not going to pay you, but I'm also going to hire an actual photographer and just say, I don't need you to bring a second shooter. I don't want to pay for your second shooter. Like you can break apart the packages. Their packages are built, but you can a la carte and build. And it's not, they don't like it. They don't want to do it.
As a photographer, I would have that discussion and let them know that because
we'll let them decide if that's,
you're talking about a name and a reputation and all that kind of stuff. But
I'm saying like you have your pictures over here.
Right.
And I'll let my friend take, she's trying whatever. And I won't tag her. I won't post any, but like if that's something, if you find the right photographer, but that's just don't skimp on the photography or videography.
It's all your memories. It's everything you have left at the end of the day. And it's just so important to have quality, well produced, edited, whatever.
And I feel like everyone
images.
has that framed picture from their wedding that you look back and you're like, oh my gosh, you don't want that one framed picture to be like blurry or just like the light. Like you kind of look at it and you're like, I look at all these other pictures later in life and I'm like, these are great. This quality just really like it's a memory. That's the last thing. Once everything's gone, that's all you got.
The other thing about having, Susie's aunt or my best friend who wants to be a wedding photographer is you want them to be a guest at your wedding and enjoy your wedding as a guest, as your aunt, whatever, blah, 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 blah. So they're not going to enjoy it if they are the quote photographer or they're going to go and enjoy the wedding and not take your freaking pictures.
Yes.
That they said they would.
Yeah. That's what I was just about to say.
Big mistake.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Huge.
Remember me? Huge mistake.
Yeah.
So DIY photography and video would be a big no-no.
Yeah.
Number one.
Me. We'll talk about number 2.
Yeah.
We'll take a break. We'll talk about number 2. We'll talk about I'm a 5-year-old. We'll talk about the second D.I. don't.
Yeah.
When we get back. All right, let's talk about number 2.
Number 2 coming up.
Okay. Food and cake. Don't.
Yeah. That's a takeaway from the whole episode. Don't. Yep.
Don't.
Food and cake. Especially if you're having like a wedding that doesn't include catering or something like that, and somebody's gonna, you're gonna hire an outside caterer to be at a, maybe at your home or someplace, a venue even that allows outside catering. I doubt you get away with it because of like health services and certificates and things like that. But Did you ever cook for 100 people before?
No, I haven't.
I mean,
cooked
that
for
wasn't a
even 20
direct
people.
question. Yeah.
No.
But how are you going to make all that food and keep it warm and whatever and serve it to like, why would you have anybody like Aunt Susie, and Uncle Bobby with the pig roaster out back and going to serve the barbecue?
Hold on, but you bring up a good point here that I just thought of too. We're talking about like a typical wedding of 75 plus. If you're having a 20-person wedding, you probably could manage cooking for everybody. We're talking about these DI don'ts. We're talking about like your
to save money.
Yeah, like 100 to a 200-person wedding.
Yeah.
Food, cake. No, I wouldn't even know how to cook. If you told me, hey, I'm going to need you to cook for 100 people, I would be like, I need 2 weeks off because I need to figure out how the fuck to do this.
I feel like my aunts, that's something that they would have concocted together, like,
yeah, it's not a solo job.
Yeah. Let's get all the aunts together and make all the food for the, no, it's just, that's not a good idea. Let me just tell you
I didn't even think about like continuing to keep it warm. Like that's disgusting.
And the cost, you're going to have to go buy all of the supplies, the serving dishes, the chafing dishes thing, however you're going to prepare it, wherever you're preparing it, you're going to put it in some kind of container or serving something, bring it there. How are you keeping it warm? Just the utensils, the supplies, everything you're going to need, that costs a lot of money. The food itself costs a lot of money. The
time to prep it.
Yeah. The preparation, the time to do that. Those are, maybe this is a good time to talk about this, but a lot of people DIY because they think it's going to save money. Mm-hmm. That is not how you save money. Cause time is money, honey. Time is money. So whoever these people are that are doing the DIY for you, or maybe it's you, your time can be better spent on other things that you need to be spending it on. And the cost to go out and buy everything, the time to prepare it and put it together, that is not a huge budget saver in the big picture. Now, if you need to save money in this category, there are things that you can do to achieve that. But
buffet versus past.
Right. But doing it yourself is really not the best scenario in any story, in any wedding.
In any wedding. It's not. I completely agree. And it's just one of those things that like, let's talk about cake in general, dessert cake in general. You, at this point, I'm assuming everyone has gone to at least one wedding in their life. And you've had the cake and it looks gorgeous and it's big and beautiful, and the time that it takes to put it together, to travel with a cake, that shit's hard. Like there are special boxes that they do that with. Like you want a wedding cake to look beautiful or fun, like, or maybe you have some type of special like design that you want on it, or to be memorable,
done, like put together,
not just like, oh, I'm gonna pour this box mix into this pan and like we'll just like cut up in squares. It's not a big deal. Like it's not a brownie mix. Like this is your cake. Like there's a lot that goes into it that these vendors genuinely don't get enough credit for, and you're having like so-and-so, and then you think about the time, like you said, to do all of this. When are you doing this? The week of your wedding?
Yeah.
Well, do you know all the shit that goes in the week of your wedding?
You can't make a cake the week of the wedding. That's probably something that has to be done a day or two before.
But that's what I'm saying. Like the days leading up to your wedding, like, do you know what that week is like?
Right.
I mean, some of you don't because you haven't gotten engaged or you haven't gotten married yet. But like some of you do, and you're like, fuck no, I wouldn't do that shit the week of my wedding. Yeah. Like the day or two before my wedding, like you are getting shit. That's when you're like, okay, I need to go get a mani-pedi. I need to go like, I need to wash my hair. I need to take a nap.
I need to go to the dress shop and pick up my dress.
I have my rehearsal today. I have the rehearsal dinner. Like the last thing you're like, oh yeah, I'm going to stay up until 3 a.m. baking my cake.
Yeah. That's food and cake. Definitely not. That shouldn't even be a consideration for DIY.
Yeah. It's too much. And then food safety, you brought, that was a good point too. Like I didn't even think about that. It's big, hard no too. Like I think it's different when you're having a smaller wedding of maybe like 20 people and you can have like a cute, quaint, that one time I told you about like the whole picnic that they did. Like, like that's cute. Those are cute things to do to be able to kind of make it more of like a DIY wedding. But again, going back to like the cost, if you're having to buy every fucking thing, caterers already have that. They already have the chafing. Chafing.
It is chafing.
Is it chafing?
It is chafing.
Whew, they should.
Is it? Now you got me questioning it.
They already have the dishes.
They already have everything that they need.
They have the utensils. They have everything that they need. You're having to go out, buy that, use it for one time. And then what? What are you doing with that? What are you doing with that dish?
Yeah.
What are you doing with all that cake shit? What are you doing with the fucking pans? Because if you're doing a tiered cake, that shit's big and like, what are you doing? What are you doing with that? What are you doing with that?
Yeah. I think we're talking on the scale for the purpose of this podcast. We're talking about like a normal size, an average,
that's what I said,
not normal, an average size wedding,
which is 150 people.
Yeah. So if you're, in my opinion, if you're DIYing any of these things, it's most likely budget.
I will
because
say,
you don't want to spend the money of what the vendors are charging, because it's sticker shock, because you've never done it before. So you're in sticker shock, and so you're thinking, oh, I can do this, or my so-and-so friend can do this, or, you know, I have a friend of a friend, whatever, guy that my dad works with says she could, you know, it's a budget situation.
I will say I ended up having to do a DIY for my wedding because I forgot about it. I forgot the a seat assignments.
Yeah.
I didn't think about the seat assignment. And then my wedding planner the week of was like, hey, this is a list of everything you need to drop off for your wedding. And it was like, and then the seat assignment chart. And I was like, I
didn't do that.
Didn't do a seated assignment chart. So I literally, and I regret, like, I look back at everything else in my wedding. It was gorgeous. When they took a picture of that, I was like, don't take it. Don't. I had to go and get like cardstock from like the craft store because I was like, I don't know. I mean, like I got it done. It was fine, but it wasn't anything like it's not a pretty, it wasn't pretty. And because I totally blanked. I blanked on it.
And that's a little bit different. You forgot.
But I did forget, but that just goes to show you, it's like, just because you can DIY something
doesn't
and
mean
maybe
you
if I had more time, like y'all DIY'd the table.
We DIY'd the table numbers. Jackie had a little more of a rustic, style wedding. And so we wanted to do these wooden blocks that had the table numbers on them.
Yeah.
And we had like 22 tables. So we had priced them. Like we had looked at Etsy. I'm a very crafty person. And so is Jackie. And we both like that, which
but you weren't doing it to save money. You were doing it for fun, like, because it was a loving.
We did look on Etsy and I looked at how much it was going to cost, and Jackie was like, well, I don't like that font, because, we had to have a certain thing. So I was like, all right, well, these cost this. So if we went to the hardware store and we bought the wood and the stain, and she used her Cricut cutter to cut the numbers out and then the Mod Podge over it, we both like crafting. And so we're like, you know what, for what it would cost if we bought it on Etsy, we could do it ourselves, and that would be a fun thing, a fun activity to do. And then it's exactly what you want it to be. Mm-hmm. So that's what we did. And it took us, I don't know, like one day we went and did this and spent a few hours, and then, I stained everything while she was at work, and then she had the Cricut numbers and put it on. It was a fun activity, and it was something that we had fun doing together. Yeah. I ended up selling those to a planner that I knew afterwards because, what was I going to do with them?
Exactly. When are you ever going to use that again?
I did keep the Mr. and Mrs. ones that we made for their place setting because they had a Mr. and a Mrs. in front of their place settings. She did keep that because she wanted it, but we had fun doing it, and the intention was not to save money. But I will tell you, it would have been a whole lot easier if I had ordered them on Etsy and didn't have to think about it. Yeah. And they came right in. But so time is money, and you got to think about that.
Going back to the point you made, and then we can take a little break, is that time is money, but also if you're doing it to save money, that isn't the reason. Sometimes there are some things that might save you a little bit of money, but
it's not going to save you that much.
I liked your sticker shock. That I think that was a good point.
It's not going to save you that much money in the long run.
All right, let's take a break. We come back, we're going to talk about entertainment, and then we're going to share that story.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're back.
Okay. So let's talk about entertainment. And by entertainment, I'm meaning like DJ, band.
Yeah.
DJ band. I was like, I'm going to go on a list here.
DJ and the band.
That I'm just going to say this right now. if you're plugging in your phone or your computer and getting Pandora or Apple Music or Spotify on to do the music for your wedding, I'm not coming. I'm not going. I'm not going. I'm not going to do it.
Yeah.
And
Jackie just went to a wedding a couple weeks ago that just had a Spotify or whatever streaming music, I should say, playlist. And
they
like with commercials.
I was gonna. Oh,
it wasn't even. It wasn't even
like, they better have paid for that shit.
It wasn't even the upgraded version. It was.
We're listening.
But it was a super low key wedding, so much more appropriate. But yeah. Anywho, that's not the purpose of our conversation today. We're talking about DIYing for other reasons.
Entertainment with bands and DJs, and doing that. The number one thing is that they can read the vibe of the room.
Well, they kind of keep the flow of things
going.
moving.
Yeah. So it's like we talked about before this episode, Ben and Jackie had a very rustic wedding, and they're both very big country fans. So for them, they might like country music. So if they told the DJ, because typically a DJ or a band will call and say like, hey, let's have a music breakdown. What songs would you love us to play? What songs do we have to play?
Right.
What songs don't you want us
What's
to
on
play?
your do not playlist?
And so if they were like, we only want to hear country.
Yeah.
Like, let's talk about like that 90s, early 2000s. Like we want that fun country music.
Right.
So they did, and then nobody was dancing.
Yeah.
That's when the band or DJ would go and find the couple and say, hey, is this what you want? Like are you sure? Like you don't want anyone dancing? Like everyone's having a good time,
right.
But no, it's not a party.
Right.
Or
if you want people dancing, like my suggestion would can I have some liberty to change the music
the
up,
genre?
Because they read the crowd very well.
So yes, read the crowd. Yes. So that is something that like you can't get on Spotify. It's not going to happen. And then fucking ads, man, don't. Yo, if you're going to do that shit, at least upgrade. Like, let's not fucking go all out on the fucking cheap shit.
Oh, gosh.
But no, but seriously, like they can read and they have like your playlist. And then I got so angry when you brought up ads. Why are we doing that?
Well, ads are important.
But like, okay,
for,
you have
our
your
podcast.
Well, but like for a wedding, like, come on, man. Okay,
yeah.
so if you are like, you have your first dance, so then you have to go up on your phone and put in your first dance song,
right.
And that's silence. There's nothing. That's
silence.
what it's like. That's what it's like.
Yeah.
No one, there's nothing happening, and you're like, this is awkward. Like,
yeah.
Or you put on a playlist, and maybe this playlist is like not a clean, so you
maybe
have
don't get the explicit
episode. So like, that. Nana's sitting over in the corner, it's like, fuck yeah, motherfucker, in your ass, and you're like, ah, Nana, I'm sorry.
Oh my god. Oh, our Nana would have been like, hell yeah.
My Nana would have been like, what did they just say? They need to get gas?
They have gas?
Do you need a Pepto-Bismol? We're so awkward.
Right. Oh god.
Okay.
Oh god. Oh god. Oh god.
Oh boy. Okay. There's a way that you can try to save some money. Now, quality isn't going to be there. If you're trying to budget out, quality is not going to be there. But they have the art schools, and a lot of those students, not a lot, but they do have a category of music. And there are students there that are going to school for being a DJ and that are going to school for having a wedding band. You can reach out to your local art school if you have one and see if there's students available to do that. Yeah. That is a way that you can budget out and save money to try and do that, because they can still read the room. They're learning. Again, you're not going to get the quality of someone that's been doing it.
You get what you pay for.
Yes.
You get what you pay for. And there's a big, not big, but you can find DJs who just, specialize in this, or a band. Like there's a wide variety of entertainment options that cover a lot of different price points.
That, and also like DJs have uplighting, which is something like when I was getting married, I didn't even know what that was a thing. I ended up, long story short, I ended up going with the first DJ, and it was like a company. So they had like different levels
packages,
of DJs. Yeah. So I ended up going with this one guy. I really liked him. Turns out halfway through, he left, got fired. And so No,
fired
like
him?
the company fired him. So he wasn't, he was no longer with the company.
Oh, you said like halfway through your wedding.
No. Like halfway through the process of like planning, he was fired.
Gotcha.
So the owner reached out and said, "Hey, I'm so sorry, but you know what? I'm actually available this weekend." So I got the owner of the company, which was fine. He obviously knew the fuck what he was doing. And I was like, all right, that's fine, I guess. Cool. So he was like, but you know what? Because of this, like for this inconvenience, we're going to put in some uplighting and some other stuff. And I was like,
added benefits.
Okay.
Like, hey, cool. What's uplighting?
I have no idea what uplighting is, but then they brought it and I saw it and I was like, oh shit. Cause like we went in like after the first dance and like during dinner, they didn't have the uplighting on. And then to turn it into a party, they all went through and turned it on. And I was like, oh shit, bitch, I'm in a motherfucking club right now. Like I had no idea, but that DJ companies have that. They have the sparks that comes from your DJ company. That doesn't always come from your rental. That is your DJ company that provides all that.
Definitely comes from your entertainment.
But people don't know that. People don't know that that's what's included with your band and your DJ. Like that is part of that package that you can get.
Yeah. And you can have a good DJ or good entertainment without those things. But if you want to have, I'm just thinking if you want to have a good, fun, dancing, your crowd having a good time, and you've kind of planned your wedding out this way, you don't want to DIY that component. And it goes beyond a streaming music playlist or plugging your iPod in and bringing a speaker. There's so many things that a hired professional does to keep the event flowing. It's not just about getting people on the dance floor. It's about flowing through the timeline. Yes. I think that every vendor that participates in the wedding has a certain component of the whole timeline that they have a part in, from the ceremony and the music that's played there to, the entrance, walking in. The DJ is a big part of that, or the entertainment is a big part of that. They play the nice music during dinner, and then they, crank the party up, and then you have the bouquet toss or the cake cut, whatever those, all those little things that you're doing. The entertainment plays a huge part in all of that. And why am I talking with my hands? Like I'm conducting an orchestra over here.
But yeah, you're getting passionate over here. But they do. They feed off. They start the night off strong, and it's just. And yes, don't get me wrong. If you are having a small wedding, I don't hate to like say like if you're having a smaller wedding and you're like, I'm not paying a DJ $3,000 for 20 people to dance to. That shit doesn't budget out. Like,
well,
that
no, it doesn't. It doesn't.
If you are having a big party and that's the vibe you're going for, a lot of people for their wedding, they're like, I want you to dance. I want you to have a good time. Like, I want this to be a celebration party.
Yeah.
You're not going to get that from a streaming app that has ads in it for fucking shampoo and fucking food delivered to your door. Okay. That's not happening. Like, talk about a buzzkill. Like, anyway, all right. So do you have anything to add? I'm about to like start cussing people out and they're going to be like, bitch, you don't know my life. Okay. So I'm going to get my phone.
Well, I do.
Oh, okay.
I do have one more thing to say about the entertainment, because not only are they just playing music and entertaining you, they're emceeing. They're making announcements. Hey, last call. Hey, we're having a slow down. They are getting the crowd going and engaging your guests and getting them up there. Or, hey, if anybody, this sounds dumb now that I'm thinking it, but, go to the bathroom, hurry up, come back, because we're going to be doing the whatever on the dance floor.
The whatever, they're giving you, hey, all right, we're going to, I'm going to slow it down for this one. Or if you have like a fun thing that you want to do with your family.
Hey, the couple really wants everyone to join them in on the dance floor because we're playing their, favorite song or what they sung when they met. It's just, they're, like I said before, they're guiding the flow of the event. It's more than just the music, and it's a component that, what are you going to do? You're going to plug your phone in, and then what? Then what?
And fucking then what?
Then what's happening?
Then what? I'm going to read this.
Because as a guest, I would be like, okay, now what's happening now? Is it okay to go? Like they cut the cake. We saw them do their first dance, and their phone's just playing. So it's.
All right, you ready?
Sure.
Okay. I feel like you're trying to fill a void, and I'm like,
no, I wasn't trying to fill a void. I wasn't. I just stopped having anything purposeful to say.
I'm passionate about this shit. Don't do it. Okay. So, This is why it tied in perfectly. So the subject line of this is when DIY becomes DIY don't. So they just jump right into it. There's no intro.
Okay.
It says, oh man, where to start? This wedding was about the most budget-friendly wedding of all time, and not in a good way. The ceremony was at a church, which was beautiful, not decorated, but the church itself was gorgeous. And that is where the quote-unquote classy of this wedding ends. The reception was at the fire department's cookout garage. This was an old garage they would rent out to the community to hold cookouts, parties, and events. The bride was a firefighter, so the space was donated, which is wonderful when saving money, but no booze on property.
Ooh.
So it was BYOB wedding, but you had to drink it in the parking lot as far from the building as possible.
Oh, God. Okay. Are we continuing, or can I pause for a moment of...
Sure, absorb it. We have 2 more paragraphs.
If you want to have booze at your wedding, don't have it at a venue or whatever it's donated. And you know what? They could have made that fire station thing really cool because she was a firefighter.
Yeah.
That could have been super cool. But if you want to have alcohol at your wedding, don't have it at a place that doesn't allow alcohol where you have to tailgate in the parking lot.
As far away as possible, like on the outskirts of the parking lot.
Okay, continue.
Right. You think that is bad? You haven't heard anything. The mother of the bride, in parentheses, monster of the bride is more like it. Oh my God. Showed up with a laundry hamper with mismatched sheets and pillowcases. These were to be the table linens, including fitted sheets with the elastic corners. Fun fact, those fitted sheets are not fitted for tables. The table runners were pillowcases. Yes, I said pillowcases, and pillowcases is in all caps.
And so she's going to go home and launder them and then use them on her beds? Is this what's happening?
Oh, I guess.
So
yeah.
are we safe to assume that we're eating our food off of tables with coverings that people have slept on?
I think that's safe. Yeah.
And
At
other
this
stuff?
point with this story, I think that's safe.
Okay. Alrighty.
The fun goes on. The cupcake tower was from the dollar store, cardboard, and collapsed. So all the cupcakes fell. The DJ and the best man got into a fist fight in the parking lot over the maid of honor and who would get to take her home. Fact, she went home alone.
Oh my.
And the monster of the bride was known in her community as a racist. So it
Let's just add that in as a component.
So to try and squash this rumor, which isn't a rumor, but pure fact, she insisted on taking every photo with the one African-American family and chased after the photographer once to get him to take a picture of her holding a baby, the only black baby there. And when the photographer was done,
like prove that she wasn't a racist?
right.
Okay,
When the photographer was done, she gave the baby back. The marriage lasted 3 months.
I think we all know why. And I don't even know how to come back from that.
I think the pillowcases.
You know what would have been so much better if they had just gone to the courthouse.
Right.
Oh, I'm sorry. The church was the pretty part, right?
Yeah.
The beautiful church.
Well,
Okay.
not decorated, but yeah.
No, well, I mean, if your church is beautiful, like what kind of
Yeah.
decorations do you need there? Some flower arrangements and whatever?
Yeah.
I don't know. So go to the church and then, they would have been better to just be at the little rec center at the church. You know how that used to be a thing. I don't know. They had a DJ there. They actually had a DJ. After all of that, the sheets for linens, the donated place, the booze in the parking lot, they actually had a DJ.
But let's imagine the quality of the DJ.
Well,
It's probably
sure.
someone couldn't play an iPhone. Like it probably wasn't a DJ.
Okay. Wow.
Excuse me.
That's DIY. I don't even think I'd consider that DIY.
That is a fucking, we're going to throw this motherfucker together and just see what happens.
Yeah.
Pillowcases for table runners. At that, like, why even bring the pillowcases? Let the sheet be the sheet. Like, we've already gotten into it. Just let the sheet
What
be the sheet.
did you say what they did for food?
No, but the cupcakes were on a cardboard stand and they
Well,
all
no,
fell.
yeah, I heard that, but I was just thinking what the food part was.
No, that wasn't included. I don't know.
It wasn't part. That wasn't part of the package.
That wasn't part of the package. I'm not sure.
The catering package did not include food.
I'll bring your plastic forks. And your
Note to
knives.
self:
Yeah.
everybody should eat before they come. because we're only having beer and cupcakes.
But drink your beer at the outside of the parking lot, please, because we don't allow beer on the premises. So like, just stay in your car. You want Jello shots in your car, please.
We're having a drive-through. It'll be takeout.
I'll just wave to you as you celebrate.
Here's your Jello shot and your, bag of food to go.
Your bag of food. Shake and bake, baby. All right, guys. I think that's it for us today.
I'm not sure we can top that story.
Oh no, that's okay. So that's the example of story we are expecting from everyone. Give us a nice subject, a nice little teaser, and then you can dive in, or you can do a little intro, and then fucking blow our mind. We are ready for them. Follow us, Instagram and TikTok. Cheers to That Shit podcast. YouTube, please watch us. We invite you to.
Hey, that wasn't very heartfelt. Please watch us on YouTube. It's really important.
Cheers to That Shit. Shit S ! T podcast. We're really cute, so I guess that's the benefit.
Is it?
You're welcome. All right, guys, we'll talk to you next week.
Cheers to
Cheers
that
to that shit, baby.
Woo.
Woo.